Any comment about the coordinating teacher positions? Nada? Okay.
What's the term for coordinating teacher?
The term? Well, first of all, in the schools, coordinating teacher term is 1 year. 1 year. I believe the central office CTs are 2 or 3. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But schools-based CTs are 1 year and they're renewable. And there's no maximum. So if you're the coordinating teacher of social studies, every year the job should be advertised, people compete, and you could get the job back again if you're the best candidate. And it could go on and on and on. It doesn't just roll. It's renewable and should be advertised every year. Any other comments? I had a comment at one of the tables about, are there any year requirements? Do I have to be an AP for a certain number of years to be a VP? VP a certain number of years? Well, the philosophy is, it's not about how long you're in the role, it's what do you know? What are your skills? What are your competencies? We are competency-based. Do you have the competencies to be a vice principal? Just because you've been an AP for 4 years doesn't mean you'll have them. And many of you will have them within the first 6 months of being an AP. So that year specification no longer exists. Yes?
So now any guideline as to how long people stay in the pool?
Once you're in the pool, you're in the pool. There's no escaping the pool. You either swim or you drown.
It used to be 2 years and then you reapply?
Yeah,
so
no,
now,
once you're in the pool, you're in the pool. It's assumed that once you have the competencies, you don't throw them away. Okay? The word competency is really important. You're going to hear it everywhere. We're looking for people who are competent, who have the core competencies to do the work. They have the communication skills, they have the relationship skills, they have the curriculum knowledge skills. These are competencies. And in the future, what you're going to find is that we're going to train people. We're going to be able to identify, once you apply to a different pool, when you have a debrief with one of us, we're going to say, listen, we think your strength competencies are these, and these. We think you need some work on these, and these. Professional development on those competencies will be offered to you, and it's expected that you will take them to try to bolster the competencies that maybe you're not as strong in. That's how you build a strong admin pool, is you work on their core competencies, and you build up the ones where they're weak, and you take advantage of their strengths. So again, as you're going through your path, you should be thinking about yourself. Once we've, by the way, the competencies are almost articulated. We'll have them soon. To go through each one with regard to your personal skills and say, I know these are my strengths, and I know these are the ones I have to work on. And then you'll find that PD will be along those lines. We're also changing all the evaluation documents to be core competency based. When we evaluate you, we're going to evaluate you on your competencies. So we'll be able to help you identify your strengths and the areas where you're going to have to work. Yes?
can I ask a question geared towards a bit of staffing?
A bit of
Geared
what?
towards staffing, now that we're on this topic.
Does anybody want to hear about staffing?
I've gotten a couple different mixed answers to this question, and that is, you know how the admin profiles have gone out to choose as APs which schools you'd like to go to as an AP and
Correct.
a VP, etc. Do those APs who are in the VP pool fill out the VP profile?
Correct.
Or do they just fill in?
They fill out the VP profile.
But the VP profile hasn't been sent to those in
It will be.
pool, so it will be. Okay.
Yeah, probably by the time you get back to your doctor.
It will be. Okay.
I'm taking care of you. It's all been taken care of. No, we're just waiting because there's some VPs that haven't been notified yet. Once they're notified, you'll get a copy of the VP profile, and then you fill them in. Yes?
I'm just curious about the coordinating teacher. So as a coordinating teacher, I can skip the assistant principal.
Correct.
And I can just go to VP. But how is that fair to someone else who doesn't get the opportunity to be a CP?
To be, you mean, how is it fair to the AP? Or how?
Yeah, that's kind of, it's a hard gig, and you do a lot of teaching.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking it's,
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about this. Being a coordinating teacher, does that give you the skills and abilities to skip the AP round? Well, you say no, many say yes. Many say that some of these coordinating teacher roles do help you build the competencies to move to that VP round. And one of the problems I have is, first of all, with this particular topic, is that a coordinating teacher of a subject area in high school does totally different work than a CT at central office, or maybe another CT in an elementary school. They do different types of work. I always thought that would be the first thing was brought up with this whole thing, was that whole CT thing, because I just squirm every time I hear this, because it is a real challenge to know where that fits into the ladder. It's a real challenge. But you know, the other thing is that just because you've been an AP doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a good VP either. So we can split hairs over a few of these things, but I think until we run into some real negative experiences, that's how we wanted to categorize it. But it is all about individuals too. And you'll note that at the top of this document it says guidelines, not rules. Okay? And the very last statement on the last page says something to the effect, or no, the second page says, based on needs and extraordinary circumstances, exception to the above guidelines will be considered, which leaves the door open for all kinds of individual circumstances. It's not looking for a way out. It's looking to give you a guideline of kind of what your career might look like. And are there exceptional circumstances? Absolutely. Every year there are exceptional circumstances. And by the way, as assistant principals and some CTs in here and consultants, how many of you have consulted with someone in a position senior to yours about your career? How many of you have done that? Good. I'm glad to see. I'd say half. I recommend all of you do it. Sit down and talk about, you know, what the person that supervises you, or maybe your area superintendent, or even myself, if you like, see as my skills and abilities, and kind of where I'm going to go with my future, and how can I kind of get there, or what are the things I need to do. Have those conversations. Don't let it just happen, because sometimes it won't happen. Like, try to do the best you can to make some plans for your career. If you're serious about being an administrator in the district, you have to have a passion for it so much you think about it a lot. Like, you think about it a lot. You see yourself in 5 years. I'm going to be there. I want to be there. What do I have to do to get there? And you see yourself in 10 years. You know, here's where I'm going to be in 5. I want to be there in 10. What do I have to do? Where do I have to go? Who do I have to work with? What should I be involved with? What kind of leadership things should I be doing? Those types of things. If you're serious about it, it will not just happen to you. It's not like your fairy godmother. It won't happen that way. But you have lots of resources and people that are more than prepared to work with you to help you get where you want to be in your career. Other questions? So what I would like you to do then is, if you have some thoughts and recommendations you'd like me to take back and consider as I finalize this, I'd ask you to write them on your document. If you're comfortable putting your name on it, please feel free to do so. I may want to call you for some clarification or something, that's fine. If you're not comfortable doing it, if you want to say something nasty about me, don't put your name on it. And then I'd ask you to hand it in with me, and then I'll take it back for further consideration. But I do thank you for your time. We're going into crazy season over the next month or so, as you're aware. We're gathering all the information that we require to do appointments. We're looking at appointments starting in March with principals, moving to VPs and APs. We'll also be doing some of the central office positions at about the same time. And then we hope to get into school staffing probably in April, late April. And I'm sure all your staff are all just can't wait for that excitement to happen. The staffing guidelines, by the way, every year we put out the staffing guidelines. We're just meeting with our committee on Friday. We should have that finalized within 2 weeks, and we'll send it out to all staff along with the staffing calendar. Any other questions? Anything to do with staffing, HR?
How about this, Craig, when will we have a final copy of this?
It'll be sent to all and posted on the internet when it's done. All right? So, your feedback, thank you very much. Thanks.
Goods for the food bank.